Basketball fans, welcome back. So yesterday we saw APR versus the Nairobi City Thunder, and that game was the hardest game I've watched in my time covering ball. So to keep you up to speed, I've been covering ball since 2021 alongside the national teams. I've also been covering ball even with my country not being there. So this is the first time we're having a team from Kenya in ball. So the Nairobi City Thunder put out a stinker yesterday. So by the numbers, I've made a video that will be premiering shortly in like an hour, and it will be premiering on NBA Kenya on YouTube, not on the to basketball. So on the to basketball, that's where all the NBA playoffs and finals will be at. But African basketball and Kenyan basketball will be at NBA Kenya on YouTube. So make sure to tune into that because that's the place I've gone through the numbers and I've seen a lot of things that, man, they're just head scratching. So somebody can ask, what are the Thunder's chances in bulk given the current situation that we are in? So currently, as we speak, the third place team that took the first spot was Creole Star. So if the Thunder can be able to get at least three wins, that means that's the least number of wins they can get to qualify for South Africa for the BAL playoffs. And going by yesterday's game, I'm not saying that I want to write off the Thunder, but if they don't switch up, and this game that they're going to play today is in about like 3 hours 30 minutes from now, because right now I'm still in Nairobi, and I've been following these games on YouTube. So the Thunder, what chances do they have? Least, amount of games that they can win, 3 games. And if I look at the team the way it is, the team is in total disarray. So Evans Ganapamo put up a stinker yesterday. He was 0 for 17. At some point, I felt like this guy should just be benched. We saw like the new NBA Africa prospect being put there, Johan Kabongo. I mean, this guy took the place of Derek Ogechi, and Ball have like that thing where they put in the Ball, not even the Ball, but the NBA Africa prospect in BAL teams. So that's the reason as to why we didn't see like our players there. Like we didn't see like our players playing the way they play because they had to adjust that they can accommodate this guy. So right now the prospect of us even beating Al Ahly Tripoli looks bleak right now, and it's very difficult. I can say our backs are up against the wall, and I can't believe that there are people who went to watch the games, to those who that watch party in Nyayo to witness the Thunder being beat in 4K. I mean, that was so difficult because I was just literally cringing. So in WhatsApp groups that have been active, I've been monitoring what people are saying, and my God, there's one thing that I noticed. I don't think there's anything Kenyan about this current Nairobi City Thunder. This squad has been mangled. We've added imports. We still have our local based players. I don't like using the term local based players because it like kind of like separates them in a way like they are inferior, but I don't like it. But all in all, it's been a worst. It was the worst outing. It's been a worst performance. And where do we go from here? Bal this week, the games are back to back. And in the first go around of games, we're going to play 3 games. We have played APR yesterday, Al Ahly Tripoli, and MBB. So when we play the first half of games, we'll get a glimpse of what these other teams are all about. Before you play the second leg, you'll have an idea of what these teams are all about. So with that in mind, the Thunder got slapped back to reality in game 1 against APR. So how they respond will determine the tempo because the tempo has already been set or in the first game, but how they respond is the most important thing because we have seen teams bounce back. I can give an example of Creole Star. So Creole Star, when they started their first game in the Sahara Conference, they got slapped to reality by Petro de Luanda. But that did not kill their spirits because it's the first game, and they always believed that they had a shot. And what they went on to do, they went and avenged that loss against Petro, and they're able to beat Ville Dakar, the home team at the time in our conference, subsequently leading them to qualify. I'm not saying that's the same thing that's going to happen because Creole Star and Nairobi City Thunder are different teams, but at some point they are at the same level because they made the Elite 16 finals. So what can we do to change things? First of all, the coaching staff for the Nairobi City Thunder, Brad Abrams, Michelle Rose, you have to figure out your best team and the best lineup to put up. You don't just substitute players in and out. And also have confidence and trust the players that are there on the roster. That's the main thing that is supposed to be there, because if you look at even how APR were, there was so much trust. You could see the ball was being, the ball was being shared. They had a game high 33 assists in that whole game, while Nairobi City Thunder only had 13. And if you ask, and if you even look at the footage, which I've looked at like this, like I can say I've looked at the game 3 times, the full game, not the highlights, the full game. I can say team chemistry is key. And team chemistry is built up when you play games, you go ahead and, you have a lot of minutes with these guys. Like the players have a lot of minutes. But if you look at the situation we have now, you could see the imports, Evans Ganapamo, Will Davis, you see, those guys were brought in at the time for BAL. So they didn't log in at too many minutes with this current iteration of the roster. You see Big Will, Evans Ganapamo, they came in for this run alone. So they were not there in the whole, time where we played in KBF. Of course, they can't be played in KBF, but all I'm just saying is there was not enough chemistry there, because Will Davis only played 2 games for Nairobi City Thunder last year, and it's last year. So it's been like 5 months, almost 5 months apart. So the team dynamics just keep changing. And you could also see Nana Apia was not there. I'm not sure if he traveled. I'll make sure to check out that. But all in all, it was just botched, team recruitment and team management from the coaching staff. And I must say, do we have enough to be able to get through? Yes, we do. The only problem is, can we play good defense and offense? Because majority of the time the Nairobi City Thunder are used to playing on top. They are just used to playing while they are winning. Every single time, they are winning, they are on top. They just plan on out-talenting the other team. But what happens when the other team on the opposing side is so good to the point where their best player is unguardable? In this case, we saw Alou Diarra be so unguardable. This man averaged a double-double on us of 21 points and 12 boards. So it was so difficult to stop and contain this guy. Even with the Defensive Player of the Year in Tyler Ongwa, he couldn't do anything. Top to bottom, our roster, it was just a coming out party, which was the worst. And this is the worst situation we can be at, because we can bounce to be able to bounce back. It will require a lot. I'm not sure the recovery these guys are on, because the game happened yesterday evening where I'm at, and the game today, it's few hours to recover. So Al Tripoli, don't forget, they made new signings, and the key signing that they made was John Jacques Boyce, a guy who has proven to be a problem for teams. MBB could not contain this guy. The Thunder could not contain John Jacques Boyce when he played in Irunani last year. So, and this man keeps on, improving. He was part of the Senegalese team that qualified for the Afrobasket. So how do you stop this guy? That's the main thing that Brad Abrams has to ask himself this question. And also the players. I must say, you guys have a lot to do. You guys have so much that you need to think about. Have great passion, desire to be able to fight, because every single game counts. This is not just, there are not too many games. It is just not just about a matter of, letting this game slide and carrying on to the next. Because I'm seeing this mentality of people saying, oh, on to the next, but they are at the office. It's only 5 games left. And if you don't fix it up, you're done. You're finished. So I've left that video. I'm queuing it up. I think it's. I've sent it out to my editors. They are setting it up on YouTube. So I've talked about this game extensively. So as we wait for this game, just know that everything is on the line. For the Thunder, if they fail in BAL, what will be the point of them fighting to go back to BAL, yet the performance they put up was pathetic? I know they want to go back to BAL again. So what will be the point if they can't perform in BAL now? What makes them think that they have a shot next time? Because they can't be so lucky like the way they were. And also, the Nairobi Thunder somewhat finessed the system when they brought in Ater Majok and Abdullahi Haruna in the Elite 16. So those guys made the BAL qualification process so easy, to the point where now they are there, and now they can't get that production, and they can't be able to replicate that type of production. So yeah, it's a sad situation, and honestly, I can't say we kind of deserve it, but the Thunder kind of deserve this loss, so that you can see how do they respond after they have gotten beat. The Thunder are used to like tearing apart teams, and now we are seeing a situation where they have been handed a beat down in the worst way. So let's see how they respond, because we always see other teams, get beat here in KBF. We have seen them, get blown out. But now, when you're in the top flight, how do you respond after you get beat and you get owned like that? Because this is the first time the Thunder are looking so human and mortal. And also, this is the first time we are seeing the invincibility cloak that the Nairobi Thunder has been taken off. And now people are watching. People are seeing how do these guys respond. I know the roster is different. I know there are like 6 new players in the roster. So how do the Thunder respond after this? So that's one thing that I've been monitoring. So yeah, it is what it is. So man, this week, make sure to tune in to Instagram and YouTube, and also Facebook. That's where I'll be unloading the videos. So stay tuned to that, and I'm out. I did an Instagram live session yesterday, and hopefully I can do another one today if you guys want it, so that I can be able to just, we can just have a good exchange and talking about, the Nairobi Thunder. So it is what it is. So yeah, man, follow me on Instagram and also subscribe to YouTube so you can get more data and more details on how things unfold. So it is what it is.